we got Jane, who's frantically shopping for a well cover. Don't worry, Jimmy has got out of the well. We saw him. He was wet and angry. She realized her mistake. She's repentant. She's trying to cover it up. She runs down one aisle, 25 meters long at 2 meters per second, and then another aisle, 30 meters long at 3 meters per second, and she finds the cover after sprinting down a third aisle at 5 meters per second for 10 meters. Okay, so how long does it take Jane to find this cover? And then we need to draw a position versus time graph. Okay, now a position versus time graph is pretty easy because we can do that already without even knowing anything. Okay, because remember, the slopes are all about, in a position versus time graph, are the velocities. And I've already given you the velocities, 2, 3, and 5. So we could actually graph this without even figuring out the time it takes. Now, if we wanted to be exact, then we'd probably need to get to an exact time. But as you'll see on my graph here, we've done it pretty close. Okay, so how long? In this case, it's time. How long is time? How long? That's what we want to find. So we want time by itself. Okay. So time would be time distance divided by speed. This first section, she goes 25 meters at 2 meters per second. So we divide that out and it took her 12.5 seconds. The second aisle, she went 30 at 3 meters per second. So it took her 10 seconds to do that aisle. And the last aisle, she only went 10 meters for 5 meters per second. So it only took her 2 seconds to go down there. Okay. So we just add all of those up to give us 24.5 seconds. So it took her, about 25 seconds, a little under 24.5 seconds to get the well cover, going down one aisle, up another, and down another. Now, if we were to put this on a graph, we have our position versus our time. We know it takes her 12.5 seconds. So we could come over here and put a line for 12.5 seconds, and I could go up here and find 25 and make a line, or I just know that I'm going at 2 meters per second. So I have a slope of 2. Okay, so there's my kind of gradual 2 meters per second slope. I know this next one's got to be a little steeper for a little bit less time. So it's not going to be as long as this one. And there we go, a little bit steeper because I'm at 3. And notice this arrow is shorter than this one. The last one, we moved really fast in a short amount of time. So it's going to be a steeper slope and even shorter arrow. And there it is. And so we kind of have this nice choppy, almost exponential graph here as she got faster and faster and faster. Slope of 2 meters per second, 3, and 5.